Hi, my name's Robbie Samuels. I'm a virtual event design consultant and executive Zoom producer. I help national and statewide advocacy organizations strategically bring their events online with less stress and greater participant engagement. And today's video is in response to a question I received at one of my weekly No More Bad Zoom virtual happy hours. A participant had found out that every time she scheduled a meeting, it automatically started recording, but she didn't remember doing that. She didn't remember scheduling it that way. And she went to her global settings at zoom.us and it didn't say to automatically record. So I walked her through how to check her meeting settings and then realized she was actually using her personal meeting ID, which meant that we needed to change the default settings on her personal meeting ID. So let me show you where the personal meeting ID default settings are because they're not in the same place as the zoom.us settings. Here we are on the zoom.us meetings page, and right up here at the top, you will see personal room. So click on personal room, and this is where you would set your default settings for any meeting that is using your personal meeting ID. And this will actually supersede your global settings. So you can have your global settings, but then if the link uses your personal link, then your personal meeting ID, then that will be whatever's on this page. So when I click edit, you'll see what I mean. You have some choices. So for instance, for meetings that I use my personal link, it's only the meetings where I'm meeting with people like one-on-one or maybe like me and two people. So I don't actually want them to be muted as they come in. So mute participants upon entry is not checked off. But on my other meetings that I schedule when I'm not using this link, that is a default that's set up through my global Zoom settings. So that's an example. Like if you're having some questions about your meeting settings, you can start by checking here if you're using your personal meeting ID. Another place to check is you can go to your upcoming meeting and look at that. So if I click on this, I can scroll down and look to see what were the settings. So here, mute participants upon entry is the setting, right? So if I wanted to change that, I could edit, make this change where I can allow people to come in, I can mute them, pre-assign breakout rooms, all those things. So those are the meetings settings that's per meeting. And then there's the settings on the settings page. See how confusing this can get? So here we are on the zoom.us settings page. And if you were to like look up waiting room, for instance, the waiting room is on, meeting passcode, right? All instant meetings. You can decide not to have a passcode on a meeting. You can decide that you always use a waiting room, but then turn off the waiting room for a meeting. So you make choices for each individual meeting, what you want those settings to be. All right, I hope I haven't caused more confusion. The three places to look: zoom.us settings, that's sort of your global settings; your personal room, that's the settings for your personal meeting ID. Any meeting you use your personal meeting ID will have those default settings. And then every time you schedule a meeting that is not using your personal meeting ID, you can change what you want to be the settings for that particular meeting, whether you want the passcode or the waiting room or mute participants upon entry or all those different options that are on there. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you soon.